Hey there, my friends. Welcome to Motivational Firewood video channel, radio channel. Anyway, we are going to be sharing this message. I had the great joy of having a conversation with a gentleman earlier this week, and at the time of this broadcast, we are somewhere in what people will eventually refer back to as when the crap was hitting the fan really, really badly. We're losing their minds, and as a speaker, as the owner of a DJ business, my business has been profoundly affected by what's going on. So here's what I'm doing about it, being as proactive as possible. And I am doing as much work online, virtually. I promise you, I'm completely clothed right now. I'm not just dressed nicely from the waist up. I got shoes and pants on even right now. So the beauty of virtual. So today I'm talking to actually a new friend. I reached out to a buddy of mine the other day and I said, who do you know? Because I want to talk to somebody in the fitness and health world that right now, a lot of people due to fear and stress are going to be making some very bad decisions. Some people, and I'm from New England, so we have these things called blizzard bags and blizzard boxes. And then when the storms come, you go to those. Some people have already, I think, eaten through, with stress eating, their 3 to 4 weeks of perishables that they're supposed to have on hand. So we're talking to Marc Zalmanoff today. Marc is a fitness trainer, and Marc's got some pretty great advice and tips. And we're going to talk about life in general too, but I want to get a little bit of Marc's story here. So Marc, fire away. Tell us who you are. And secondly, I'm real glad that we're on this, having this conversation today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Steve. I appreciate it. So yeah, to recap, Marc Zalmanoff, AKA the Fitness Ninja. That's my little moniker. And I'm making America fit again. I own a gym here in Frisco, and you know, this is something that we've never gone through before. You know, it's unprecedented, and even some of my older clients that have lived through some serious stuff in this country are saying the same thing. And I really it's just freaking people out. And even my wife the other day, she said, I don't know what to do. You know, it's like the Ricky Bobby, like I don't know what to do with my hands. So people are just feeling lost and losing a sense of control. And so, you know, that's what I really want to work on is giving people tangible strategies that they can implement right now, not down the road, not, oh, I got to develop this habit thing going on. No, right now there's so much that we can do to help, whether you want to call it mitigate the damage or just get to a sense of general wellness within our situation and let the rest of the stuff play out the way it needs to play out.
Yeah, and I think what we're starting to see up here, I've seen it a number of times, unfortunately, are people saying, hey, I have this solution, and they're already busting out this mega high ticket thing. And so many people in my industry, speakers, I've been a speaker now 16 years, there are people who have just been road warriors for the past 2 decades who have no idea how to function when they're not on a stage. Now, it's nothing against them, but they've never had to work from home, creating video messages, working remotely, even recording their own radio shows or anything like that. And I'm already seeing some people out there being very predatory, trying to take advantage of people's
Absolutely.
spirits. And you and I, the reason we're on this call right now is because you're the flip side of that. You've created this great way for people to not only stay in shape, but to also stay connected with you and your energy. And they don't have to get a second mortgage on the house and buy a Peloton.
Right.
Because I heard the other day they said for only $58 a month, that I'm thinking, till you're dead, or?
Yeah, pretty much. It's about that long.
So why don't you describe the program that you've created? Because I think it's a great way for people to, in their fear, in their stress, in the comfort actually of their own homes, which is a great place to be grounded. Talk about the program that you have designed.
Yeah. So again, with gyms being shut down, even apartment gyms and work gyms, like everybody's telling me everything's shut down. And so I created this simple 30-day at home, no equipment needed. Like if you got a couple milk jugs or cans of soup or something, you can use those for weights. But you know, the importance of exercise in this is, again, it's this sense of control. And, you know, you and I talked about this a little bit yesterday. You know, I follow a lot of stoicism. And in that stoic philosophy, the overriding principle is there's only a handful of things that we actually have any control over. And the things we have most control over are our thoughts, actions, and reactions to the world around us. And it's so important to remember that. Like, I can't control what happens outside of my circle. I can try to influence I can do certain things, but at the end of the day, I only have control over myself. As much like we think we control our kids, we don't control shit with our kids. Like, they do what they want to do. Yeah, we can brainwash them all we want, and then one day they do something, we're like, where'd that come from? And you're like, oh, well, I guess they're doing their own thing now. But it's so important to remember that, especially in times like this, that what, if things are happening out there, which they are, we get the choice to react how we choose to react to those things. And we can react in fear, we can react in anxiety, or we can be, some people need to be grateful that they're busy, they're always busy, and now they have time with their family. And it may not be the desired way that we all thought it would happen, but there's always these things that you can look at. And if you choose that lens of gratefulness, you can go, oh, you know what? I was really stressed out at work, and I have been for a really long time. Now I get to sleep in a little bit. Now I get to relax a little bit. Now I get to spend time with my loved ones that I say I don't ever have time with, especially people with kids, and you're shuffling them from event to event and school and homework. And, you feel like you just go. And then all of a sudden it's 9 o'clock and everybody's got to go to bed, and you get up and do the same thing over again. So I think people need to keep some perspective of, we can take advantage of this time and utilize it for good, instead of sitting there, biting our nails and worried about where we're going to find toilet paper tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I think that's important. The second part of all this that I think is important for a lot of people, especially those that are stuck at home now, is to have a routine. And, again, it's that loss of control. All of a sudden you don't have to get up anymore at 5 a.m, and you're not sitting in traffic all day, and you don't even have to put pants on, but you should, because in a few weeks, whatever the time frame is that this lasts, it lasts. And then we're going to go back to, it may be a new normal, but we're going to find some sense of normalcy again. And the further away we get removed from that sense of purpose and framework of our life, the harder it's going to be to transition back into it. So we have to keep that routine in play. And especially people with kids. Our school district is doing all this e-learning stuff where the teachers are sending lessons. And so they're outlining it very clearly. And so it's up to us to structure the kids and say, okay, this is school time. I know you're not going to school. Doesn't matter. This is the time we're going to sit and learn, because it gives us a sense of like, okay, this time is breakfast time, not, whenever it happens. And then, okay, this time is going to be my work time. And this is the time the kids are going to do this. And this is the chore time. And this is the time we're going to play games, to kind of lighten up the mood, whatever it may be. But have some routine in your life, and don't let it just all, go like the wind.
Which I refer to as the squirrel workout, just whatever happens to run across and catch your attention. I've had days like that. I think I've had weeks and months like that in the past.
Yeah.
Right now, structure is huge. And some of the memes that are already coming out from this, I've seen people who have a whiteboard who have all the times. And then by the afternoon, it's half erased and says, teacher fired for drinking on the job. It was one kid already expelled from the homeschooling. And I really do appreciate that people are having a sense of humor with it, to understand maybe it is the new normal. Who knows? But it's the now. And
right.
I mean, you said, talking about beyond our own actions, which includes our thoughts and our words, but our reactions to everything right now. The world is watching. Be very careful how you react to everything that's going on right now, because the world is going to have a long memory of how you treated others.
Absolutely.
Not that long ago, Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and 7 other people perished in a helicopter crash. What was everybody saying that week? Hug your loved ones. Tell people every single day you love them. Remember how precious life is. And the other day, I saw a video of 2 women having a fist fight over a pack of toilet paper at a Walmart.
Yeah. It just boggles the mind, right? It boggles the mind. And, here's the other thing, you talk about these days that we're in and being kind to others. Like there's a saying by Marcus Aurelius, memento mori, which is essentially remember your death. Like we're all going to die at some point. And there's a lot of people today who won't wake up tomorrow, and not because of the coronavirus, but it's just their time. Yeah. And I walk with that on a daily basis. And people that don't study this, it can come across as very morbid, But for me, it's my opportunity to live, because if something happened to me, if I drove out of here tonight and I got hit by a semi and that was the end of me, I want the last memories that people to have of me to be good ones. I want to know that I told my loved ones that I loved them and I gave them a hug and a kiss or whatever. I want to know that the people that I care about knew that I cared about them. Yep. And so these trivial things, fighting over toilet paper and worried about your internet connection not being fast enough because everyone's on the internet right now. All those things are so trivial. And it's so easy to get wrapped up in it when we don't keep that good perspective.
Right.
And that's why it's just so important to bring that lens a little higher sometimes and understand what everyone is going through, because these things bind people. And, it's no different than 9/11, JFK, World War II, Pearl Harbor. There's events that define lifetimes. And only the people that experienced it will ever know what it was like. And so here you and I are sitting with another 7.5 billion people going through this together as humanity, not as Americans and Italians and Chinese. No, this is humanity working through this issue together. And so, your problems aren't just your problems. We're all going through it, and we all have to figure out how to navigate it. And the more we stay grounded and go, okay, not what can I do out there, but what can I do right here? Because if I can stay calm, then my family can stay calm. And if my family can stay calm, if my wife can stay calm, then when she goes to work, the people around her can stay calm. And it's the butterfly effect. And it goes both ways. Like you said, one person starts hoarding all the toilet paper and all of a sudden everybody needs, a 5-year supply for some odd reason.
Yeah. And of course, even with that, because I'm a former radio personality, former stand-up comic, I so appreciate the humor that some people are using to cope with all this. And I've got some friends who are nurses, and one of them admitted the other day, she goes, "We have got the sickest, darkest senses of humor."
Oh, yeah.
I said, "You know what? I love that about you." And she goes, "Well, not everybody can take it." I go, "I can take it." And I actually appreciate it because it's a coping mechanism. And that's how some of us keep going. So as much as, you're teaching your kids to be calm, there are people out there teaching their kids how to pick the locks on porta potties and steal all the toilet paper. And one kid's going to fall in and come home with a blue arm or a blue sneaker from falling into dirty water.
Yeah.
But it's going to trickle. It's going to trickle forward. It's going to trickle down. From now, everything you say, do, and how you react is going to say a lot about you to the people who are left standing when this is all over. And if you own a business, I own 2 of them. And you own a business as well. We've got to be so careful right now, which is why we're so proactively having this conversation.
Right.
And talk about the importance of it. I want to be somebody's bright light. And I don't mean that in a sort of way. I want to be the person whose message, whose words, whose actions and reactions are reaching somebody who's stuck in the shadows today, really scared to come out into the light. Because they don't know.
Absolutely.
How this is going to shake out. And you mentioned dying earlier. Please don't die during this conversation. Video is going to have the most long, awkward pause ever. You like going, look,
where'd he go?
Side of the camera, going, "Oh, this is awkward." Well, we can't go to commercial.
Right.
Put you on hold and listen to Rocket Man or Muskrat Love or something. No, but we're here. I'm talking about the positivity, positive messages, kindness, gratitude. You mentioned. I've been keeping a gratitude journal for 8 years. And every morning, it holds up the back of my laptop. So every morning I flip open my laptop, reach behind it, pull that out. As the laptop's booting out, I write the date. So today I wrote, March, today's date, good stuff, 1, 2, 3, and wrote my 3 favorite moments from yesterday. So I kick off every day.
Yeah.
My 3 favorite moments from yesterday. And one of them, I was at CVS in the town next to ours. I had to get a prescription, and I saw this really large gentleman carrying boxes of toilet paper down the aisle. And he was just singing to himself. And I said, "Sir, you're the most popular human being on the planet right now." "Yes, I am." And he just goes about his work. And I said, I'm going to remember to write that down, because I was grateful for his energy and his humor and his friendliness in that moment. We shared a great laugh. And if people just did that with one person every day, that's a workout too. I mean, you designed a 30-day workout for people to physically exercise, but kindness, gratitude, having a positive reaction with intention, and
Yeah.
being a good example are things we can all work on for the next 30 days, because guess what? Even when the bulk of this blows over, things may never be the same. It'll be the new normal, like you said. We're building those muscles right now too.
Absolutely. You know, the gratitude thing is so huge. And to take that one step further for, you know, business people that are watching this and listening in, we also look at wins. And, you know, I think I mentioned briefly to you, my friend Ryan Stewman has something called the G code. And one of the things that we talk about is you begin your day with gratitude and you end it with your wins. And what that does is it frames your day in positivity. So the first, like you said, first thing in the morning, you're writing down these great moments from the day before. And if people take at the end of the day and go, where did I win today? And it could be anything. It could be personal, professional. It could be, you know what, I stayed calm today. I made somebody laugh today. You know, I got a new business deal today. Well, you know, whatever that win is. But now you're going to bed going, yeah, you know, that was good. Like I did some good today. So you wake up and say, man, I'm grateful for this stuff. And you go to bed going, man, this is awesome that these things happened today.
Yeah.
You do that for 30 days and you'll change your life.
Yep.
And I know there's people out there that still think it's hokey and it's this woo-woo stuff, but I promise I will challenge anybody that's not doing that to start doing that and tell me it won't change your life in 30 days.
Yep. Oh, and I've had people say to me before, oh, Stevie, it's easy for you. You're so positive. Like, I work at this every day.
Absolutely.
I was born positive and I have great role models. But with everything going on around the world right now, basically the world's toilet is collectively overflowing right now. Attention to. I work hard at being positive every single day. Whenever I go to the grocery store or department store, the first thing I do when I get out of my car is I look for a carriage to return. Because shopping cart rodeo is a great way to commit an act of kindness that costs you nothing. It's also good exercise. But what it also allows me to do is if I see somebody, you know, putting maybe in the last bag or two of groceries in the back of the car, and I can see they've got kids in the car, or if it's a senior, I'll say from a distance, excuse me, would you like me to return that carriage for you? Yeah. And they turn around, oh, I've never had anybody say, no, I want to do it myself.
I know, right?
Oh, thank God, the carriage valet is coming. Where it sucks for that. But it's such a moment to connect with a person. I always walk away in a better mood. And until you've gotten an 85-year-old woman who's about 4'6", and I'm 6'2", cackling when I said, ma'am, take your purse out of the carriage, put it in the car before I get there, because I don't want these cameras to catch you beating the crap out of me in the parking lot. She had a cackle on her that I can still hear. And when she got in her car, I could still hear her cackling. And I walked into that store with a smile a mile wide. I felt amazing because that connection. Right now, people are so isolated. I think connection is great. I think it's great. Now, the 30-day fitness challenge and the tips, videos or just audio or written?
So I utilize an app that all the workouts are programmed in the app. So every exercise has videos and descriptions, and I lay out the plan. You know, this is how you do the workout. This is how many sets, how many reps. So it's done for you. You have to do it. I can't literally do it for you. It won't benefit you, but you have to do it. And what's great too is, you know, as people are stuck in their homes, like these are things that people can do with their kids. They can bring their spouse along, you know, bring them in the living room. And again, really make it a family thing. And there's so many people in this country that are overweight and obese. You know, it's still 70% overweight and obese. And, you know, the common thread that you hear from everyone talking about this virus is people need to take better care of their health, because it's the people that are immunocompromised already that are most susceptible to this. So, you know, the older population, we get that, babies, whatever, but, you know, people who have health issues. And I even heard an interview the other day and a doctor was saying, you know, we have all these obese people in this country and they're compromised because of that, because along with that comes heart disease and diabetes and high blood pressure. And high blood pressure is one of the things that that seems to be, you know, when people get this, those people that have that already are suffering way worse than someone who's a healthy individual. And so for a lot of people, I really hope this is a wake-up call to start doing something active on a regular basis. And it doesn't have to be this huge undertaking. It can be get outside and walk. You know, if you're doing 0, walking is better.
Yeah.
And if today it needs to be to the end of the block and back, and then you're wore out, awesome. Go do that. Tomorrow, go 1 more block than that. The next day, go 1 more block than that. The next day, throw in a squat or 2 here and there. You know, it doesn't have to be this big, huge formal thing. It just needs to be movement on a regular basis. And like I said, I really hope that some people see this, and when this is all over, they're like, okay, I really need to do something. Like, I've waited long enough. That was scary. I don't want to have that looming in the back of my head that what if the next virus comes and I get it and my body isn't strong enough to fight it off. And that's part of the reason, you know, I do what I do, and I created that program, and just the general message that I'm putting out right now on social media nonstop is like you said, it's positive, but it's also, hey, you know, we really need to take this seriously, because our obesity rate hasn't changed. And well, the obesity rate continues to rise. The overweight and obese combined has been the same for like 2 decades now. So we're smarter and we know better, but we're still not changing the habit. So at some point, something's got to give.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you may as well throw a good scare into people. I mean, every now and then we watch The Walking Dead and we're like, you know, everybody's in shape when the zombies come from them, and there ain't a lot of food left anyway. So yeah.
Right.
So now, how can people find the 30-day exercise challenge in the app and the videos? And the reason I asked about videos is because they're getting your energy, your face, your voice, your everything. So I was hoping that video was going to be a part of that, because they're getting you.
Yeah.
With a million people out there who do what you do, and the other million who do what I do, it's what we each bring to it: our authenticity, our genuineness, our caring, which is obvious, that you care about what people are going through, and you created this to help get them in a better place. Even when the new normal comes, they can be in a better place for the next whatever happens to us all.
Absolutely. So honestly, right now, the easiest way is just go to my Facebook page. Like, my personal page is public. Anybody can see it. Marc, M-A-R-C, last name Zalmanoff. Anybody listening to this can friend me. I take all friend requests unless it looks like you're some Russian spam bot thing. That's truly the easiest way to find it. I have a business Facebook page as well. That's Marc Z Fitness and Nutrition. There's no other Marc Zalmanoff on Facebook, because my son, who has the same name, is not on there. So I cannot be confused with anyone else. And I'll be blasting it out repeatedly. But really, you know, I encourage anyone who needs that positivity, who needs a good message of perspective, or who just wants to be entertained by really funny memes, like, follow me. I'm entertaining. You know, it's fun. I have fun.
And that's the best way. If you can marry, you know, an authenticity where you just look at somebody and you go, oh my God, that's the real deal. That's the real person I'm looking at right there. And humor, for me, humor heals all. Humor's that gas in the tank when your brain can't take it anymore. Man, if somebody could teach you something that can impact your life and make you laugh in the process, man, that takes roots. And it just sets something in that you just want to be around that person. And, you know, somebody could listen to this conversation and go, you know what, I need Marc in my life for at least the next 30 days. So I'm going to go take his challenge. I'm going to go do the work, and I'm going to be in a better place when this is over.
Yeah. You know, on the laughter thing, the clients that I have that come into my gym, one of my goals that I've always, for years on end, is I'm going to make everybody laugh at least once while they're there. And I'm going to make sure that they leave with a smile on their face, because my clients work hard, and I have some really challenging workouts that they would vouch for. But if there's not some element of fun to that, if people don't enjoy it, I don't care how great the results are. Like, if you're miserable the whole time you're doing it, you're only going to do it for so long. At some point, you're going to be like, okay, that's enough. This isn't even enjoyable. And so that's always been part of my mission in my business, is to make sure people are smiling and laughing and having a good time, and enjoy it enough that when somebody else asks about it, one of the first things they say is, oh my God, we have so much fun in the gym.
Nice.
You know, and they'll talk about the burpees and all this terrible things, but you know, I always love hearing, oh my gosh, it's so much fun. We have such great people in there. We have such a good time. And that lets me know that I'm doing what I was meant to do.
Yeah. And that's part of the reason we're having this conversation right now, because I take the same thing into the speaking world, where I had a guy come up to me one time. It turns out 3 years after he'd seen me at a speaking event. And I was in the Captain Crunch aisle at a local grocery store, and he walks past and he turns around and he goes, "Hey man, you're that speaker, right?" And I turn around, there's nobody else but me, him, and Captain Crunch in the aisle. And I said, "Yes, sir, I'm a speaker. Where did you see me?" And I said, "Well, what do you remember?" He goes, you told stories, you made me laugh, you made me think, and it was an unemployment networking group." And he said, when I went into my next interview, I went in there with some humor, some humility, and confidence, and had a conversation directly with them, just like you said. I go, and he goes, "Oh, hell, I got the job." I mean, we're sitting there, I held my hand up, and I think he, you know, we high-fived, and we did the little shoulder chuck, and it just felt so good, because what he remembered was the energy I brought to the event.
Right.
You know, which normally they meet every week. It's not a happy occasion. Some of these people were chronically unemployed. And what he remembered was the humor and the story and the impact, and that he took a lesson from it and applied it. And that was one of the greatest testimonials I ever got.
I love it. I love it.
Of why I do this. You know, I don't rent out Ferraris, mansions, and yachts and pose in front of them and say, "Someday this could be yours." You don't have the bodies there where people sit their head on top and go, "Oh, here's your beach body." Taking pictures, man. It's all real. It's from the heart. It's from the gut.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome. Remind everybody again, Mark, how they can get a hold of you and how they can find you and get to that challenge.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Marc Zalmanoff. Just search my name. I'm also the Fitness Ninja on Instagram. You can find shenanigans on there, or on the World Wide Web at www.marczfitness.com. That's where I am.
Great conversation, Mark. I'm so happy we hopped on for this, and I look forward to connecting again soon, because you're stuck with me now, face it.
Thanks so much, Steve. I appreciate it.
Awesome.